Hey everyone, Hans here. Today, a quick video on creating a cold email campaign for Google Ads or SEO agencies who want to work with dentists, dental practices, or dental hygienists, those types of companies, local businesses. So we're going to be using Apify and just Google Sheets, and then later we could drop this campaign into Clay if we wanted to for some other enrichment. But for now, just using Apify and Google Sheets should already help us build the data set that we want. So let's dive in and see how we're doing this. So here we are in Apify, the tool that we've come to love. We have the Google Maps scraper right here, which is what we'll be using. So they have some great options to help you build phenomenal data sets, as you've seen. But they have some really interesting options to help you narrow down your search to just really build really targeted data sets. Now, for our example, we're taking like I said, a Google Ads slash SEO type agency who want to work with dentists. And we're going to be targeting dentists in Chicago just for the sake of having an example. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. I'm going to run through the main one, and then I'll give you some ideas on how else you could be doing this, either at scale or slightly more manual. So, Google Maps scraper. So, just to make sure that you don't get really large data sets or you don't pay a lot for your data, whatever, you could break it up into neighborhoods. So here I have a list of neighborhoods in Chicago. Then you can use Instant Data Scraper to grab that list in just 1 second. And you can use that as your input. So you scrape every neighborhood in Chicago. And then that way you already have your personalization, and you can just use it that way. And you can break up your campaign that way. But then again, the Google Maps scraper already gives us a lot of the data that we want for personalization. Like it gives us the neighborhood already in the output data, which I will show you in a second. So you don't have to do this. Another great way to break it up is, for example, by zip code, just to make sure that, because in the end, it's the same as with Sales Navigator, right? They only display, excuse me, the first 2,500 results. The same with Google, they don't have infinite results. So you want to make sure that you're breaking up your search a little bit, because in the end, if you're just going with dentist in Chicago, then that's going to be a big search, right? So you want to break that up by neighborhood, by zip code, whatever works for you. Then for now, I put 200 here. Like you can put whatever you want there. I just did it to have a sample data set. Now you can choose the details. You can get the actual images, so you can use those images for personalization, for example. Um, you can get reviews. You can use the reviews for personalization. So you can get the reviewer name, even the response from the owner. So you can say, "Hey, rate your review by John Smith and how they said this and that." Great for personalization, not something that we're using in this campaign. It's a little bit of a more basic campaign that I still think would perform really, really well. So here you can, excuse me, I have a bit of a cold, so sounding a bit more, well, a little different than usual. So here you could plug in custom area codes like actual coordinates or postal codes, etc. So you have all these options to actually narrow it down. But we went with neighborhood just for now, and then you can select categories here. So they have preset categories, which is really helpful. So we went with dentist, cosmetic dentist, dental clinic, and dental hygienist. And you have other search terms you can add. You could say, I only want to target, because I'm going to be running ads for these folks. I only want to target that. I only want to work with companies that have at least 4 stars, because otherwise, it's just not going to work. You can do that, obviously, and you want to skip closed places. Or you can just construct, your search in Google Maps, set it up exactly the way you want it, and you can drop it in here, and you can even add 120. So we'll just cycle through those. So that's how you set up the Google Maps scraper. You run that, and then you get a data set here under runs. I have my data set. Sorry, I should click into that. So click into this one. So here you have your data set. Then you grab that, and then here is the data set. I did a little bit of cleaning. I took out a few columns that weren't really relevant. So then this is the data set that we have. Still, there's a bunch of stuff in there we don't need, but has the website, which is great because we obviously want to find contact information. Then what else we're going to be using? So the categories, we could use that. Is advertisement? This is pretty important. So that's something that we'll be using later. And then we have, the neighborhood, which is what we wanted. And then we have the company name, etc. So this is what we'll be using, right? So we have this is the title. So this is the actual name, and those are the main things that we're using. Now, what we want to do is we want to take out the ones where advertisement is true, and I'll show you why. Because we're setting up this campaign. So the campaign reads, hey, first name, not sure if you knew, but competitor advertising for dentist area Chicago, meaning they're always showing up above you when people look online, opposed to me sharing some online advertising ideas that worked for other category we work with that had the same problems and their first name. So if you set this up, it will be like, hey, John, not sure if you knew, but Lawrence Dental Group are advertising for dentist Elbury Park, Chicago, meaning they're always showing up above you when people look online, opposed to me sharing some online advertising ideas that work for other cosmetic dentists we work with that had the same problem. So this is one angle you can take. You can also take a more direct pitch angle, saying, I saw their advertising showing up above you. We can help you, take back that traffic. Would you be open to talking if that's something that we could do? These soft CTAs, they work well. You're going to get a bunch of responses saying, yes, sure, send it over. You automate that, and then you automate the sequence that comes after, and then you nurture those into actual calls. Or you can just go straight for the call, and that works as well. You'll get fewer responses, but you'll get more calls early on, whereas the other approach will get you more calls later on usually. So that's that. So that's the campaign that we're building now. How we're doing it? So we're taking out the ones that have is advertisement true. So these are the sponsored or the ad results on Google Maps, and those are the ones that we're going to be using for personalization. So then imagine if we would sort this by Albany Park, for example, then for every dentist in Albany Park, so for these ones right here, we would say, okay, competitor. And in the end, we would take out this one right here because they're advertising. So the competitor for here in Albany Park, and obviously we can do a VLOOKUP, but just, showing you the example here. Their title is Dr. Lawrence Villano, DDS. You could clean that up if you wanted. Let me see, competitor. So for all these, let's see. So competitor is Dr. Lawrence Villano. Everything else we already have. So we have the category, we have the neighborhood that they're in. So we have every single variable we already have because Google Maps Scraper gave us that. And we just want to find, the competitor where is advertising is true. We use that as a variable, and that's it. So that's the entire campaign. So as you can imagine, that's something we can set up at some pretty exciting scale, meaning that we're able to generate a bunch of leads every single day, every single week of the year with this. And this is just Chicago that we're talking about, and this is just a really tiny data set that I scraped as an example. So that is the campaign. Now, for the ones that don't have someone advertising in their area, you obviously want to take a different angle, saying, hey, I was just looking for a dentist in the Elwyn Park area, and I saw that no one is running ads yet. Would you like to always show up first? And you can add additional data. You can see, and I think they have the rank in here as well. Let me just have a really quick look. Let me see. Where is that? Here we go. So there's the rank here. You just exclude, and you can either run the same place saying, hey, I noticed that, XYZ shows up first. Would you like to rank above them? or I noticed that you aren't ranked first, would you like to? It's slightly less of a powerful angle, I would say, but it definitely still works, and that way you're able to target every single dentist in the area, except for whoever is ranked number one, or maybe whoever is ranked in the top three. So you want to rank everyone outside the top three, for example. So that's a really simple play that you can set up using Apify, Google Sheets, and you set that up in. You can set this up in a couple of minutes. You get the contact info and you load that in, and this will generate you some really solid leads for your Google Ads agency, for your SEO, for your local GMB agency, etc. So, hope you found this helpful. If you did, then make sure that you let me know so that I can keep making videos like this. And if you have any questions, then very open to hearing those. Either way, thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Bye bye.